Italian word. Quarantine, cuarenta, just like in Spanish, cuarenta, 40 days. So quarantine comes from 40 days of isolation. You guys go, because they had found out, the Muslims knew, that hey, if you're in an area and there's a plague there, you got to stay in there and don't come out. And if you're outside of it, don't go in. That's the basic rule in Islam. Okay, now, Iranians, in medicine, like I said, they're using the blood of people who have cured themselves. They're using that blood right now to give to other Iranians, and it might help, Economic, nobody in the world could stand the type of economic blockade that they put on Iran, and the country still cruises by. They showed, I was watching on Press TV, they showed the markets in Iran full of stuff. You go to the market here, if you don't get there at 9:15, you ain't getting no toilet paper, you ain't getting nothing hardly. It's ridiculous. Don't go at 1 or 2 o'clock, or say you just say, I got a little time, I'll just go. You go in the store here, and them boys is empty. But people are not panicked in Iran. Okay. So, the military started 3 weeks ago. Not 3 weeks ago. Started on the 15th of March. They started this military maneuver to study whether this is a biological attack or not. You know what I mean? So the military started a long time ago because they looked right at it and said, hey man, we don't know what boss man is up to. So they jumped right on it. That was over a month ago, March 15th, the Ides of March they started. The manifestation of defects is when things happen and it challenges the things that are happening and they manifest the defects. You begin to see the defects in it. Where are the defects showing? The defects are showing not in Iran, they're showing here in America. What do the doctors, y'all been watching TV, what do the doctors and nurses say? We're America. They fought World War II, they did everything, all this, and they said, we don't have nothing. And use your thing all day. So sometimes, I don't believe the nurses is lying and the doctors. They're saying, okay, you use that thing all day. When the rule is, you go out of one room, right? You put on another mask. You put on new gloves. They do that anywhere. They pull off them gloves. You see them, even in the restaurant, they pop off them one thing of gloves and put on another. That's what they're for. They don't do it there. Can you imagine? And now the workers are dying. And they're paranoid because they know about diseases. And they say, hey, if we don't get disease from the patient, we're going to get it from each other, right? Because if one of the health workers get it, you know what I mean? You don't even have to, this thing is so serious that all it is you may have it a month, you might just be a carrier. You may never get the sniffles or nothing. Hey man, that's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded the way they're doing it. But this is America. So it's the manifestation of defects. Okay? Now, boss man is a pure liar. I don't know where they get these statistics to say that his thing is going up, up, up. Done, yeah. Look, lie a lot, especially them. I don't believe down stuff is going up. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And technically, I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because when they have a war, George Bush's thing went up to 81%. And then he lost the election. 2 weeks later, it was down in the dumps. So when you have look, can you imagine what they're going to do with Don? Don that lost this thing. He cannot go before anybody that can talk and say nothing. Because they're going to say, Don, we told y'all, the Chinese got it bad. They said, what? You talking about us? Well, we told y'all that this stuff back in December. What are you talking about? December or November, we told y'all about this. And we wrote letters to the UN that it's on record that they knew. And they got these criminal senators that they sold all their stock, right? So they had to know, as soon as they got briefed, they went and dumped their stock, right? And you can't help, look, they didn't put $1.5 trillion or $2 trillion, probably more than that, in the stock market already. Then the other day when they was going to sign the bill, the stock market jumped up 2,000 or something. The next day it kind of cruised along, but Friday and the day before that, that boy was down 900 and some points. That's what they was in. They didn't already wrote in that they didn't accepted the bill. We're gonna get that money. This stock market, $1 trillion is not even chewing gum money for the stock market. It ain't nothing. If you think I'm lying, go watch the thing tomorrow. Next day, if it's up tomorrow, don't worry, it'll be down, down, down. That's where it's headed, because $1 trillion or $2 trillion, they already put $2 trillion on the quiet. You know, this thing, you could put $20 trillion in this thing, and it'll still be going down. Why? Because every day they hear bad news. Right? And it panics the stock market. America now is #1 in whatever they, this many people are dying. And this stuff, that's why I got a little paranoid. I said, we ain't gonna have no more Juma. We'll do a Juma on that thing, Hey man, I'm sorry. Cause now it's getting a little, you know what I mean? Whatever the virus is doing, it ain't playing. And you can't be missing. And then we got a bad reputation in the United States. If boss man may come by here and wipe everything down with the plague, you don't know. Well, he's gonna have to chase me down and just scrub me with it, because I ain't, hey man, we're gonna take it easy. But that's a precaution we should take. Anyway, manifestation. Internal unity is absolutely necessary for the Islamic Republic of Iran. Technically, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Iran, and we're talking about our relation with Iran. And now we'll get to what we've been talking. Speak a word straight. Our word today is straight to the Iranian officials here in the United States and that are part of this non-Velayati Faqih clique. It's always we've been talking about Velayati Faqih, and what I want to know is, if we've been down with the revolution from day one, there's a few things that we want to know. And that is, why are we sidelined and cut off if all we've done? Look, here's one example. This is the Nigerian Army kid. This is kind of old, but This is Alama Zakzaki. Alama Zakzaki. Excuse me just a second, forgive me. Alama Zakzaki. They can kill all of his people they want. There's Alama Zakzaki with Imam Khomeini's grandson. Imam Yassin, Alama Zakzaki. I got several pictures of Zakzaki, but I only brought a couple of them. There's another one at the Crescent program. That's Imam Khomeini's grandson. That's Yassin Abu Bakr. But, okay. Now, here's the question. The question is, Alama Zakzaki has a similar situation as me, except they've killed, what was it, 3 of his sons? Did they kill 3 of Alama Zakzaki's sons?
6.
Huh?
6 sons. 6.
6?
Yeah.
Good God Almighty. I thought it was 4.
No, it wasn't 6.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Now, the other thing I want to know is, you could tell if you read a little Arabic, this isn't for Walayati Faqih, there's a protection against global fitna, if you can see right here, fitna, that's what that is. Okay. Now, after I'm on the front page, why, after I'm on the front page, you notice I haven't been to Iran in several years. Why, after this shows up on the front page about Walayati Faqih, am I not going to Iran anymore? This is just a simple question. Why? You know? Yeah, that's the chief, come to think of it. That's the Imam. You was with the chief, wasn't you?
Yeah, nah, that's the community.
That's the chief. That's the chief.
Yeah, nah, I recognized him when I saw the photo.
No. What the point is, we know everybody, and it's just unbelievable. There's Mujaddidi. This is in Afghanistan. Anyway, let me get back to the point. The point is, you take Marzia Hashimi. She's on Press TV every day. Well, I was all right on Press TV until after, when I needed to be on there. You don't find me on there anymore. Marzia Hashimi, we spoke together at Zahra University. We spoke at Jaffa Sadiq University. She took Shahada at our Masjid in Denver, Masjid al-Islam, Denver, in 1982. Okay. She's part of a clique. Whoever went to school up there, some people went to school in San Francisco, some went up to Denver. You find out who went up there in Denver, in Colorado, and they got their degrees and everything. Name may start with Javad or something like that. No, look. There are certain things I done told people. You can turn that heat off if you like. Look. One at a time, those people used to invite me all the time to programs. Their inviting me is what made them get the big positions they got. Because I was the main guy going around all the time. Not Muhammad al-Assi. He was on the road a lot. No, he wasn't on the road. He was in the air. And then I drove from city to city to city on a regular basis. And if I would get there ahead of time, I would help him distribute literature. And when I get there, oh, you're in New Orleans, and don't worry, we're going to let you go a little while. But on the, just before you leave the area, would you go up to Monroe and what's that, Grambling? Where's Grambling? Louisiana?
I don't know what, is it?
Grambling, Mississippi.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Yeah, but it's right on I-20. So I go to a program today, and we putting up flyers, and they would tell me, oh, we just got the program together. I said, this flyer says the 15th or something. That was a while back. Then I just strolled up to Monroe, Louisiana, and they happen to have a flyer that I'm going to be there too. And then in another part of Louisiana, and then, on the way, would you just stop in Mississippi? And you jump on Highway 59, you happen to stop in Mississippi, and they got a flyer with your name on it already, you're going to be here, and they done hooked up. I didn't mind, I liked it, because it was making, look, you saw Iran was cut off from everybody during that whole war. And the first main program I spoke at was UC Berkeley. Now, I'd spoken a little before, but it was on the 7th of Tir, right after the 7th of Tir. That's when they killed all those Iranian officials, and then they killed the president and prime minister. Then they come back later on, and they was going, you couldn't believe the martyrdom that was happening. And when I walked into Linnell Hall at UC Berkeley, we used to have that all the time. All those Iranian students, they're young and they've been up all night crying, you can tell, you know. That's what they've been doing. Their country, they don't know where it's going to wind up. I mean, we didn't have this revolution, and they are they're good people, but they didn't know what was going on. And one of the brothers told me, he said, he's a professor at Tehran University right now. He said, Imam Musa, when you would come in and you would talk to us and you would tell us everything's going to be all right. That's the way they was interpreted. And I knew I was having everybody love Akbar, Khomeini, Rahman, Akbar, all that stuff. But they said, man, that kept us together. So that's what they told me. Okay, if that happened for over a decade, why in the hell now, where is it? People can bust me upside the head, right? And it ain't no big deal. I mean, that was a head, but can you see the blood streaming down? I can still see, but it's going right next to my eye, right now, and it's stuck in the beard. You can imagine that after I had to clean. You know, everybody was telling me, man, you gotta go. After I gave a little talk, they said, you gotta go to the doctor. I couldn't see myself. I said, man, I ain't going to no hospital. Because I didn't feel like going out. So my son said, Dad, your head is busted, man. You got to go. And then I could see all the blood right here. When I got to the hospital, they started work right there. They was working on my chest. They thought I was shot in the chest. They didn't realize that the blood was running down my head into my chest. If I can hang with them and help hold their stuff together. And they're big leaders. One of the big leaders, he had one of the big Chevys, 80s, back in the 80s. And the government unscrewed the back tire. So he's driving down the freeway and the back tire came off. So he was telling me, yeah, man, I was driving down the freeway and my back tire came off. Blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I went to see the chief the other day in California, and my car was smaller. It was a little Fiat at that time. So I was driving and I looked up and I saw a tire catching up to me. I said, it was my back tire. I said, the reason they unscrew the back tire is because it don't make a lot of, you know what I mean? And then I told him, I said, you know, the other thing is, my truck, I said, you haven't seen my truck before, but I had a big truck, and I have these Turkish brothers that take care of the cars. So I went by their place, and the guy looked all under it, and it shook all, because it was making a noise. So finally at the end, he said, man, I can't find anything, and he hit the front wheel, and it went. I said, that's it. So he took the hubcap off, and there was 3 lugs that the other ones was loose, but these 3 had come loose, and when you drive the truck, the centrifugal force holds it up to the, and it don't make no noise. Then when you slow down, they start running, and I couldn't, what is that noise? This was psychological warfare, so boss man is trying to run you crazy. And the other guy over at the daftar, he had something similar to that, and I told him, I say, if you can't stand that, you don't need to be no official of the Islamic Republic. If you're not ready to achieve martyrdom, you better get a new job. I told Javad Zarif those same words. Said, if you can't stand, because the first thing he said, oh, my children. Well, what the hell, Palestinians got children. Yemenis got children. All the people going to the war front, they got children. Now, I know the human thing is automatically, but that's their first thing. The revolution is not first. The children is first. You can't blame no human being, but technically, a real revolutionary, you can't do that. You got to put the rebellion first. You got to put the survival of the Islamic Republic first. Because if they don't survive, your children are going to be slaves to whoever, right? That's what they're going to be. They're going to be back in slavery. They're not going to be independent. If boss man win, you won't have no freedom, right? You won't be able to do nothing. And then the people come tell us, you should depend on the system. I said, a system? I said, a system done had 165, 70 years to stop shooting niggas, right? And it ain't too